Self-talk is going on inside your head 60,000 thoughts a day, like all the time. Anything that you've been trained into, you can retrain, right? So this is a process. Anyone can do it. You did not beat yourself up for mistakes when you were a child. Like if you stumbled and fell when you were trying to walk, there was no negative self-talk. You were just like happy to do it again. So you pick this up along the way. Anything that you've been trained into, you can retrain, right? And it mostly involves an awareness, like paying attention. Paying attention is step one, because if you've been trained so much that it's habitual and automatic and frequent, it probably happens without you paying attention. So there's lots of ways to pay attention. Some people use a little sound or metronome. Some people have trigger phrases when they hear something. But for me, I just intend to pay attention. When I intend to pay attention to something, I pay attention to it. And I feel like it's the same for everybody. If you make a decision in your heart and your mind, like that's it, never again, I'm done with this self-talk, I'm paying attention from now on, then you'll start to catch it. And so the first part is paying attention, and it's important to get good at that and practice that. And it is a practice, right? The first day you try it, you might only notice one self-talk and like 100 different ones slip through. But the second day you try it, you notice 2 self-talk and 98 slip through, or whatever. So once you're paying attention and you notice that you're beating yourself up, then you need a response to it, right? You want to have a certain response. When I notice I beat myself up, I'll gently apologize, or I'll replace it with better words, or I'll tell my accountability partner, right? You can pick any response you want, but hopefully you pick one that is positive and productive and helpful. And then that's the practice of retraining yourself over and over. Pay attention to your self-talk, your negative vibes, and then correct it or respond to it. Pay attention, respond to it. And it should be annoying. Like it should get annoying to do this, because you want to go back to like living your day on autopilot. You want to go back to just enjoying life. You don't want to be paying attention all the time, right? But just like any skill or talent or habit or thing, like you have to train yourself. When you're first lifting the bench press, you don't want to focus on form, or squats. You don't want to focus on form all the time. It's annoying, but you have to. Like it's important to focus on form in the beginning, and then you nail it, and then you never have to think about it again. Your muscle memory just takes care of it, and you have good form. And so you want to nail down the form of your new skill. You want to pay attention well and respond well. And it's annoying at first, and it takes work and effort, but it's a worthwhile, fun, productive work and effort that gets you back to your childhood of not hating on yourself for every mistake, right? It's worth. So this is a process. Anyone can do it. Anyone can pay attention, and everyone can respond gently after they've disrespected themselves or whatever. And it eventually becomes easy and on autopilot. And now you have a habit of positive self-talk. It's pretty simple. You can do it faster than you think. So I can give you some strategies or practices or exercises that may help. But strategies and practices and exercises are annoying and the long way about it, right? Self-talk is going on inside your head 60,000 thoughts a day, like all the time, self-talk. And no one knows but you. It's super secret and super individual and super private. So any external exercise is never going to keep up with your 60,000 thoughts a day. Oh, do this and have this card and have this accountability partner and use this strategy. It might catch like a few of them when you're like really paying attention or whatever. It might help you pave the way or get the ball rolling. But nothing is going to compare to just paying attention to your thoughts and your self-talk, right? How could something outside ever do better than that? It's the best way. But you could wake up and write a giant list of positive self-talk, and this will set the tone for your day. It'll get you used to being positive. Kind of like if you laid in bed all day, you wouldn't be used to moving. But if you woke up and did some jumping jacks or whatever, you'd be raring to go. Like, you'd be good for the day. Doing this morning activity sets the tone and makes it very likely and very easy for you to continue doing it. So you could write down on a piece of paper or on a notepad or note app, I love myself, I'm gentle with myself, I care about myself, I always say positive things to myself, I'm okay with any little mistakes or failures, it's part of life. Like, you could write all these positive things. And the idea is for you to come up with them and make them count and make them personal, and for you to write as many as you can until you sort of get tired, right? Like, I'm bored of writing all these positive things. And on the first day, maybe you only write 4 or 5. And the next day you write 10, next day you write 20. You want to get to the point where you're writing like 2 pages or 3 pages of positive things. And if you can do that, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough to slip back into negative self-talk. You probably still will, but it's one exercise that would help. Another exercise that would help is to have a partner that you can trust who's sensitive to your vibe or energy or whatever, and be like, hey, are you beating yourself up again? Like, an accountability partner is another good exercise, but it's not available to everybody. And like I said, they will never be able to be as on top of it as you paying attention to your 60,000 thoughts a day. You can also set like a 5 or 10 minute sound or alarm, and when it goes off, it's a sign to you to check in, like, hey, how have you been talking to yourself for the past 5 minutes or the past 10 minutes? If you can do the past hour, but it's less helpful because all sorts of things could have happened in that past hour, and you're beating yourself up for a whole hour before you figure it out. So you could set a self-talk alarm. These are all helpful exercises. But again, to me, just sounds like a giant hassle. And I'd rather just pay attention. Like, when I'm using a knife, I'm cutting carefully. When I'm sweeping, I'm paying attention to the floor and seeing if I did a good job. And when I'm monitoring my self-talk, I'm paying attention. Well, by far the best solution. Okay, so one more like bonus exercise is that Sin, she's behind the camera. She asks all the questions on this channel. And what worked for her was to fill her feed with inspirational content, positive sayings and self-talk and memes and stuff. And she would at first say those out loud, right? To say it out loud, you have to think it and live it and embrace it and understand it and embody it. Like, saying it out loud is a powerful thing. And that sort of helped her get over some of the negative self-talk. She was talking more positively, literally out loud. And then to take it to the next level, she would say those out loud while looking herself in the eye in a mirror, right? Really connecting soul to soul, or self to self. Point is, she looked herself in the eye and said it and meant it. And that brought up some pretty emotional feelings, right? Some intense feelings. And it was hard to do at first, but eventually she became good at it and practiced at it. And now she can just say all sorts of positive stuff to herself. And it's unlikely for her to dip into even negative self-talk internally or externally. But I really want to emphasize that these exercises are like a long, slow way of doing it. Just saying.